Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. Let me give another shout out to S Jacques for coming through. He was the only one that came through on the Cash App yesterday when I was educating you all on Bali and where I went, as a place that I went with my girlfriend and wife for vacation. S Jacques was the only one to come through. He came through twice, and he was the only one to do so. So shout out to him because he also comes through with the news links. And there's another pattern that I kind of see emerging when it comes down to these news links. We have properly been positioned in terms of public perception with regards to this particular pattern, but I think we need to exploit it a bit more. Part of the war in which the sisters are engaged against black men is a public relations war. AC was right about Shahrazad Ali in the past. And Shahrazad Ali, as I've stated before, probably had to learn, I'm sure, as a matter of fact, that she has said somewhere that she had to teach herself about how to deal with black men fairly and justly after such a major public relations war against black men that was so effective that many black men internalized it. Many black men internalized this war and the negative propaganda to the extent that we believed what they said about black men, and many of us decided either that's who we were going to be because we're black men and that's just who we are, or we decided that we were not going to even so much as stand up for ourselves because we didn't want to be that N-word. Now here's where it gets a little trickier. Right now, and this is how it relates to international politics, we compare ourselves to people who have countries. We are a country within a country. There are other groups of people that have similar experiences. Native Americans are one. Palestinians recently became another. The original Australians are another. The Maori of New Zealand are another. But we routinely compare ourselves to people that actually have countries. And we've made the mistake of saying that we're behind because the Sistrans say that we're behind. And they might actually believe it when they say it, but that's what they say. Or everybody else is ahead of you. They don't look at who's on par with us or who is behind us. They look at only who's ahead of us and then say, everybody's ahead of you. And we fall for it. And that's been our mistake. Now, when you look at what S Jacques has sent me, the AES has its own its own anthem, and the anthem is going to be translated into local languages if certain calls are going to be answered. Because right now the AES has its own anthem, and it's in French because that is literally, all puns intended, the lingua franca of those regions of West Africa. This is what is probably going to wind up changing it, because you've got Bambara and Hausa spoken as major language groups in these regions. So those are probably going to be some of the first languages into which the anthem will be translated. From French into Hausa, from French into Bambara. I am in favor of that because Hausa has become a lingua franca for West Africa. And Swahili for East Africa. So I'm okay with that. But the point is that an anthem belongs to nations. You see, the African Union does not have a national anthem. They took the tune of the South African resistance anthem and wrote their national anthems to that particular tune, different national anthems. Gozi Sikelele Africa. God or the king take care of Africa. And then in Tanzania, it was Mungu Ibariki Africa. God bless Africa. And then it was in Zimbabwe, I think it's an anthem to a similar tune. And in Zambia. But the lyrics are different because the tune is the same, but the languages are different. But you did not have an international anthem. Now, it's just a song. It's just a song. But the fact that someone thought of an anthem for 3 different nations next to each other tells you something. Africa's learning to cooperate with Africa. This is why I say that this is not the smart time for us as African Americans to go so far as to start pushing away every other nationality. This is a smart time for us to go to other groups and say, listen, this is what we're going to draw a line in the sand. This we will not do to you. And we will not let our kids do this. And also this we will not tolerate, not even from your kids. This is important. Not to be divisive, but to actually be cooperative. Because you see, the accountability, as I stated when I said that the world is upside down and I uploaded that, the accountability is also becoming upside down. You see, at this point, everybody now knows that Israel's a mad dog on the block. Now, people have known this for decades, but now people are calling Israel on it. Now they're pretty much saying, you started this with Iran, they retaliated, you did that first. Okay, they got nukes, yeah, so does Russia. And they don't even have nukes as weapons. They're developing nuclear energy, and you want to sit up and say they got nuclear capacity, so you hit them? Well, Russia got it too. What you gonna do? Bitch. And now, and when they do that, they're gonna start looking at the US and saying, wait a minute, you've hit nations for developing nuclear capacity, but hold the mother cuss word phone. Hold up, US, you've done this and complained about somebody having nukes, but North Korea launched some nukes and you smooth acted like you ain't see it. And they're gonna be right. The accountability now that people have perceived has been flipped on its head. The accountability is the same, but the perception and the awareness and consciousness of accountability has been flipped on its head. Now the propaganda war is failing. And this is a time when we have to start looking and saying, well, since people can conceive now of having been misled about accountability for so long, it is time for us to go ahead and make it known, since these ain't our women no more. And the ones who are, and the ones whose men we are actually admitting the same thing that we're about to start telling the world. We might as well go ahead and tell the world that not only are we not the ones that are accountable, except for being too easy. That's it. Everything else falls under that. But that they're the ones that are accountable. The guilt is actually all on them. Just like when Ain't Real turned around and said to the world, well, you know, we're bombing hospitals because they keep hiding in hospitals. They hit us in and they run and they hide in hospitals, and that's why we keep hitting them. We bunker buster the hospitals. Yeah, we taking out the elderly and the babies and the sick and everybody else because that's what a so-called tourists are hiding. Every time Ain't Real says this, they're making it up. And when Ain't Real does this, because they ain't a real nation, by the way. And when Ain't Real does this, it turns out that their backup headquarters for the Ministry of Defense, which was already hit by Iran, is under the hospital. Public knowledge. They are meeting underneath a hospital. I swear for God that this commonality of every accusation winding up being a confession is what has given me the idea that there's a link in between the government of Ain't Real and the conspiracy of the hyena misandrist in the black population of the West. Where did I get this link from? That one simple pattern. Every time they accuse, we don't realize they're confessing. Every time. They hit you and then they run somewhere and hide behind somebody else. Every time. That's what they do reliably, consistently, and they don't quit. They don't stop, and they ain't going to stop. They don't just run behind something else. They run and hide behind someone else that you know you ain't got no business popping, and that's why they run behind them. So it'd be like, I decide that I'm gonna commit crimes and I'm popping off to people, and every time I do it, I not only go and hide behind my grandma, but I let them see me run in the direction of my grandmama's house. And I leave tracks so that they go following me to my grandmama's house, and I put her in danger. And grandmama thinks she's hiding an innocent person. My grandbaby was here all day. I ain't saying somebody ain't shoot you and then run in this direction. I'm just telling you it wasn't my grandbaby. Well, he was wearing his face. I doubt it. But my grandbaby was inside all day. And so now, what does that do? That puts her in their crosshairs too. And then you turn around, and then when you want to go and pop somebody, you want to go back and pop them again, and you miss and you hit somebody else, you say, well, he was hiding behind them. He was using them as a shield, and then he was popping off at me. I had to return fire to suppress his fire. Man, I'm telling you guys. That pattern is sitting up staring me in the face. This consistency of confessions coming in the form of accusations against others. I said, God damn, who the hell whispered this tactic into both of their ears at the same time? So since now it is that the world is beginning to understand that the colonizer is the one accountable, not Africa, not the former colonies, since the world is beginning to understand that Ain't Real is accountable, not the victim Palestine, and I'm not telling you Palestinians are our people. I mean, religiously speaking, idealistically, they should be mine and I should be theirs, but reality is reality. However, they're not accountable for this. They didn't start this. And so now the world's beginning to realize, no, they didn't pick this fight. Ain't Real is not David up against the mighty Goliath. No. Palestinians are David up against the Goliath. Dear God. Yeah, sorry about that. Like, I get these phone calls, and like I said, I only get them when I'm busy, when I'm recording. I done packed up. I'm getting ready to try to go to the States to visit my family. I still don't know what immigration's going to do. I don't know how they are, how they act. I just don't know what to expect. Could be anything. I really just don't know. Are they going to I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, they're not supposed to be able to just stop me from going into the country. I'm a citizen. Multiple generations on top of that. I literally don't have any other citizenship. Going back generations in my family. But I just don't know what they do. And I don't know what they're allowed to do and when they're not. Like, how do I know exactly when they're overstepping the bounds? And I'm saying this as a man with nothing to hide. I just don't trust them. And that's the other thing. I mean, we now know that my fear is not because I just have a victim mentality. My fear, my apprehension is because I'm dealing with a damn monster, just like you've been. And that beast, that monster, is the one that's been behind the propaganda war of the sistering against us, backing them up. And sometimes they get surprised by how far the sistering are willing to go in their propaganda. Donahue was like, yo, Shahrazad, calm down. Y'all might remember that. Donahue. I mean, I don't really remember that well. I saw it, but I don't remember it some 3 decades later. But AC did. AC saw it. He brought the receipts. Shout out to him. But now everybody knows that when you look back at those things 30 years ago, everybody now knows that what we thought was true ain't true. No, the black man ain't no boogeyman. He ain't accountable for this. Black man has actually done exceedingly well considering everything that's been put against us. Sister's been playing basketball on lunar gravity. You and I have been playing it on Jupiter, Jovian gravity. And then on top of that, that's not even where it ends. We got extra weight tied to us. The equivalent of our own mass tied to us on top of that extra gravity setting. And all the sisters can say is, well, you just ain't no man because a real man would have been able to do it. A real man could fly anyway. They want to turn around and put on a Superman movie they don't even like watching to tell you what you not. And now the world knows, no. Now the world understands, no, bitch. These men ain't accountable, you are. You lied. All you did was sit up and blame them for stuff they didn't do and nothing. That's all you done. You've literally never done anything else with these men except that. And I think this is time that we just go ahead and tell the world, look, yeah, we come from the same population. Yeah, they are moms. We love mom. Might be our elder sisters. And some of our mothers and elder sisters were great. Some of our grandmoms were great. Some of our older cousins were great. And we'll give them credit. But we hit it. What we're going to tell you, since you're curious about our society, we're going to go ahead and tell you right off the bat, right, mother cuss word now, that the bulk of them, even if they loved us in that twisted way, kept information from us, and they were fighting a gender war. And that this was their religion. Because we aren't you. I hope that what I said is a benefit. Thanks for listening. As always, black heart, black mind, black out, assalamu alaikum, black heterosexual, non-select male power because they don't like it. Black patriarchy till extinction of judgment day. Thanks for flying with us here on Jet Black Air with a phrase. Jet Black's also a verb. Keep jetting black with us till the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender justice forever.